Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 8. I am Arni Mutiara Indah as a moderator from this group. Well, we will present our presentation about speaking or listening. The first material will be delivered by Dhea Ananda. The second material will be delivered by Andra Amelia. The third material will be delivered by Nurjana Pratiwi. The fourth material will be delivered by Putri Anjani. The fifth material will be delivered by me. And the last material will be delivered by Sri Wahyuni. Well, please watch the following presentation.
1. Speaking. Definition of speaking. There are many definitions of speaking that have been proposed by some experts. Speaking is a productive language skill. It means that speaking is a person's skills to produce sounds that exist at the meaning and be understood by other people, so that able to create of good communication. Furthermore, speaking is the use of language to communicate with others. It means that this activity involves two or more people in whom the participants are both hearers and speakers having to react to whatever they hear and make their contribution at high speed. So each participant has intention or a set of intention that he wants. From those theories, it can be concluded that speaking skill is related to communication. The skill to use a language appropriately to express someone's idea, opinions, or feelings in order to give or get information and knowledge from other people who do communication. The aims of speaking. Speaking is an important tool to communicate or to deliver main things about what the speaker will be said with their society. That is why speaking is very important. Basically, there are three important aims of speaking, namely, A. To inform. To inform means that the speaker wants to inform and share ideas, information, process feeling or opinion to the hearer and give knowledge as well in particular purpose. B. To entertain. To entertain means that the speaker wants to make the hearer feels happier with the materials which are selected primarily based on their entertainment value. C. To persuade. To persuade means that the speaker tries to convince the hearer to do something in certain activity. D. To discuss. To discuss means that the speaker wants to discuss something because the purpose of speaking is to make some decisions and planning.
The aspect of speaking. In speaking, there are some aspects that must be fulfilled by the learners. It can be used as a measurement whether our speech is good or not. These are fluency, comprehension, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. The description is as follows according to Brown. A. Fluency. It refers to one's ability to speak smoothly and easily. B. Comprehension. Comprehension is a student's competence to comprehend all of the speakers say to them. C. Grammar. Grammar is the way to organize the words into the correct sentence. This is important that if the speakers can master grammar to organize the words so the speaker also easily to speak English well. D. Vocabulary. Vocabulary is the basic of language. It appears in every language skill. It is very important because we can say nothing without vocabulary in our mind. E. Pronunciation. Based on the definition, pronunciation is the important component of language. 2. Listening. Definition of listening skill. Brown, who stated that listening is the major component in language learning and teaching because in the classroom, learners do more listening than speaking. It means that listening is the important thing in daily activities. Through listening, we can interpret the meaning. Rivers in Wahyuni says that listening is a creative skill It means we comprehend the sound falling on our ears and take the raw material of words, arrangement of words, and the rise and fall the voice. And from this material we create a significance. Listeners must cope with the sender's choice of vocabulary, structure, and rate of delivery. So, we can say that listening is the ability to identify and understand what others are saying. It is also a complex activity, and we can help students comprehend what they hear by activating their prior knowledge. Listening is the active process because listening is not just matter of hearing. Listening includes many processes. Listening is determining the meaning and the message of the sound.
Listening problems. Year 1996, 111 identifies the learner's problems and the solution as follows. First, trouble with the sounds. Most students rely mostly on context for comprehension. They are often themselves unaware sound perception. Second, have understand very word. Some students feel worried and stressed when they miss some word of the text. The teacher should explain this point to the students and set them occasional tasks that ask them to send a relatively long text for one to limited terms of information. Third, cannot understand fast, not mainly native speaker. The students can only understand if the teacher talks slowly and shortly. They cannot understand fast, natural, native sounding speech. The teacher can also provide them with the sort of discourse at the right level for them. Fourth, need to hear things more than once in order to understand. Students need more than once to hear the text. Teacher can try to use text that include redundant passage and within which the essential information is presented more than once, and not too intensively, and give the students the opportunity to request clarification or repetition during the listening. 5. Find in education keep up the students feel overloaded with incoming information. The solution is not so much to slow down the discourse but rather to encourage them to relax. 6. Get tired. Sometimes students feel tired and bored to listen if the discourse is too long. The solution of this problem is similar with the third problem. Difficulties in listening skill. According to many experts, Duncan, 1991, Richards, 1983, and Muir, 1984. There are 8 factors making listening difficult as follows. A. Clustering. In written language, we are conditioned to attend the sentence as the basic unit of organization. In spoken language, due to the memory limitation and our predisposition for chunking or clustering, we break down speech into smaller groups of words. B. Redundancy. Spoken language, unlike written language, has a good deal of redundancy. The next time we are in conversation, notice the reprehension, repetition, elaboration, and little insertion of I mean and you know here and there. Such redundancy helps the hearer to process meaning by offering more time and extra information. C. Reduced form. While spoken language does it contain a good deal of redundancy, it also has many redundant forms. The reduction can be phonological, morphological, syntactic, and pragmatic. This reduction poses significant difficulties, especially to classroom learners. D. Performance variables in spoken language, speech, for plain discourse, hesitation, false start, pause, and correction are common. Learners have to train themselves listen for meaning in the midst of all these distracting performance variables. Colloquial language learners who have been exposed to standard written English and or textbook language sometimes find it surprising and difficult to deal with colloquial language, idioms, slang, reduced forms, shared culture knowledge are all manifested at some point of conversation. Rate of delivery. Virtually every language learner entirely thinks that native speakers speak to face. Actually, as Richard 19 and 83 points out, the number of blank pauses used by a speaker is more crucial to comprehension than sheer speed. Stress, rhythm, and intonation. The first features of the English language are very important for comprehension. As stress, time language English speech can be a tremor for some learners as mouthfuls of syllables come spelling out between stress points. Each interaction. Unless a language learner's objective is exclusively to master some specialized skill like monitoring radio broadcasts or attending lecture, interaction will play a large role in listening comprehension.
Benefit of being a good listener. The first, good listener are more likable, and then good listener build stronger relationship, and the last, good listener have a clearer understanding of the topic being discussed. Strategies for effective listening. The first, make eye contact. Making and maintaining eye contact with the speaker lets them know they have your undivided attention. And then, ask follow-up questions. If the speaker message is unclear, ask clarifying questions to gain more information. You can also ask confirming questions, such as, I want to make sure I got this right. It sounds like you are saying, is that correct? This can help your goals if you receive the message accurately. And then, be present and attentive. Good listeners are attentive and engaged in the moment. They shut out distraction and give their undivided attention to the speaker. And the last, don't interrupt. When you interrupt, it communicates that you don't care about what's being said. Type of listening. The first, deep listening. Deep listening occurs when you are committed to understanding the speaker perspective. The second, full listening. Full listening involves paying close and careful attention to what the speaker is conveying. And then, critical listening. Critical listening involves using systematic reasoning and careful thought to analyze a speaker message and separate facts from opinion. And the last, therapeutic listening. Therapeutic listening means allowing a friend, colleague, or family member to discuss their problem.
Teaching and listening. As far as English is concerned, the contents can be very wide indeed. And just what is a group? It's rather like asking how long is a piece of string. Even more challenging is the question, what is effective group work? In other words, what will really get the learning done? These equations have myriad answers depending on the context, the task, the individual teacher, and so on. 1. Gender and talk. There are obvious danger in assuming the boys and are noisy and dominant, and then girls are put into the shade. Not only can every teacher find a positive example, but it's unhelpful anyway to story behaviors to readily. 2. Organizing group for talk. Single sex grouping. This can be useful, particularly in areas where both might traditionally be pair building on the most automatic groupings in the classroom is the idea of working with a partner. It is always useful to build on children's established ways to collaborative working, but pairs can also be the basis for more extended mixing and varying groups. Sewing. This will need careful explanation, take timing and management of resources. Home groups of about 6 pupils research a topic cover a specific period of time. The teachers decides on 6 or other appropriate number are areas within the topic which can be researched with supporting materials. Each child is assigned a particular area within the topic with the aim that he or she is so to become the experts in this area. During the work of the home groups, time is allocated for each the experts to share the 3. The teacher's role. When groups are working more independently in the classroom, then the teacher is free to be able to manage teaching and learning in a more confused way. This is particularly true when it comes to observation. When groups are engaged actively in their own work, it is possible to target on group 2, observe for a few minutes. This can give valuable information to feed forward into future planning and can be the time when routine observations for terminally assignments of talk can take place. Another good opportunity for observation and recording which can be feed forward to assessment is in work around the computer. Thank you.
4. Reflecting on language. The group in the example above were asked to listen to the tape and evaluate their own work. The reflections show as understanding of the purpose of group discussion for learning, how experience helps improve talk, and how thoughtful evaluation can improve personal talk practice. 5. Talking about talk. The following offers a list of ways in which children can be encouraged to look very closely at language and to talk about it. First, talk diaries. Children can keep notebooks of talk anywhere they write down anything that they find interesting or important. This could be about the ways in which they or anyone in the class has used talk. Second, making tapes and transcribing. Children can make their own tapes giving example of different way of talking or gathering opinions, rhymes, stories, or anecdotes. This might include having family members and they are a good way to involve parents and carers in the work which goes in the school. Some valuable libraries of tape stories have been birthed of this way. Third, discussing attitude to talk. An ambitious way of doing this can be to have tape exchange with a school in another geographical area, specifically aimed at discussing the religion difference in speech. Fourth, word focus. This can be organized to fit in with any area of the curriculum. Children might collect and display words which are relevant to a particular subject area. Words with the same prefix or suffix, or words which are opposite people's name and their origins, and list is extensive. And the last one, links between speaking and writing. Word activities can often lead on the explicit discussion of the distinctions and similarities between written written and spoken forms of text. Pupils might make lists of types of written text and their spoken equivalents, as well as being asked to notice in the book. They read, they read the difference between narrative and dialogue. 6. Talk and performance. The teacher's role is central, taking on the role within the narrative and simulating the action by question. The first one to ask is where is our story going to take place? The progression of the story will depend on the variety of decisions made by group. It might process by teacher asking, who are we going to meet? What will they say to us? As the story progresses, different children can be asked to take on different roles as characters. Since the teacher is guiding by asking questions, the narrative can go anywhere.
Conclusion. Speaking is a skill to use a language appropriately to express someone's idea, opinions, or feelings in order to give or get information and knowledge from other people who do communication. Listening is the ability to identify and understand what others are saying. It is also a complex activity, and we can help students comprehend what they hear by activating their prior knowledge. Listening is the active process because listening is not just matter of hearing. Listening includes many processes. Listening is determining the meaning and the message of the sound.